With the third pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Luka Doncic from Ljubljana, Slovenia. Early trade to announce. The Atlanta Hawks trade the draft rights to Luka Doncic, the third pick, to the Dallas Mavericks for the draft rights to Trae Young, the fifth pick, and a future first-round pick.
On draft night 2018, the Dallas Mavericks traded their draft rights to Trae Young, who they had just picked at the fifth pick, and a future 2019 first-round pick to Atlanta Hawks for the draft rights to Luka Doncic, whom the Hawks had just picked at the third pick. This already seemed to be a move of magnetism at the time, as the Mavericks foresaw the possibility of Dirk Nowitzki, their franchise star, retiring in the next year. So they made the splash, and almost 7 years later, a lot has happened. In the early hours of February 2nd, 2025, at 12:12 a.m., Shams Charania sent out a report that goes down as one of the biggest trades made in league history. The Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. This three-team deal also included Utah, as they received Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks. Now that I've been level-headed, it's time to be ignorant. No, I don't understand why you trade Luka Doncic, a 5-time All-Star, a 5-time All-NBA first team. He was the Rookie of the Year. He has been an MVP candidate for the last 3 to 4 years. In all 50 games of the playoffs that he has been in, he has averaged 30.9 points, 9.4 rebounds, and 8 assists, and just led the Mavericks to a finals. Does that make sense? This is not a trade that happened because Luka was just growing tired of the Mavericks' woes this season and wanted to go to a contender. This is not a trade that happened because the Mavericks have just sucked throughout the past few years and they're trying to get the most value out of their best player. This is a trade that happened because the Mavericks wanted Anthony Davis, or I should phrase that as Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, wanted Anthony Davis. Make that make sense. I am not trying to discredit Anthony Davis at all. He's a really great player, has helped the Lakers majorly, especially when they won the ring in 2020. And he's one of the best players in the league. I'm not trying to take that away from him. But Luka, a person who has been seen as a top 5 player throughout the past few seasons, you just trade him on an early Sunday morning, the week of the trade deadline, because you want Anthony Davis. You are mortgaging your whole future for the next few years of AD. And I don't expect AD to not play well. I think AD on the Mavericks, I think he's going to do well. But you just made a finals appearance. Granted, you didn't win, but you still made the finals. That's a huge improvement. The Mavericks, obviously, I mentioned that they had just, made the finals. And they had made it to some Western Conference finals and lost, obviously. But then you make the finals and you go versus the Celtics. And I know that they lost. I know that they lost in 5, which is one of the worst ways of losing because they only won 1 game rather than just a 4-0 sweep. But you traded Luka Doncic. That sentence doesn't even make any sense. When we look at the NBA and almost the idea of a player being untouchable, you think of guys like Giannis, LeBron, Jokic, possibly, a Joel Embiid, those type of players that are the best players on their teams, and the teams would never think about trading them unless they were the player, for example, requested a trade out of there. Luka did not request a trade. Luka didn't even know this trade was happening before they pulled the trigger on it. A guy who has given everything to this team for almost 7 years and does amazingly well at it, is going to go down as one of the best players to ever play, is just traded out of nowhere. He's a 25-year-old. You just traded an MVP quality type of player who is 25 years old we've probably not even seen the best Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. You know, I was going to go in this video about other trades, but we'll save that for another video. I appreciate y'all for watching, and screw the Mavericks.
We've exemplified that, and, you know, we think defense wins championships.